Make sure you assign the interests of your holding company to your living trust, and make sure that you are creating separate LLCs for each business. If you are a real estate investor, create a holding company for your real estate. Same theory applies. Assign the interest of the holding company to the living trust and create separate LLCs for each property. If you are managing the properties yourself, create a separate real estate management company that does not go under the holding company. Read the caption for why. Most importantly, make sure that your properties are adequately insured, and you can add an umbrella policy for an extra layer of protection. You also need business insurance. This is key. It's not about if you'll get sued, it's about when you'll get sued. Step 1.
Oh, that's the concealed carry video. I need to re-put back up. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I gotta repost that video of me rapping. But you should come see me. Hey, y'all, I'm just allowing YouTube to let some people know that I'm on right now before I get started with tonight's session. So tonight I wanted to actually get back to some of the stuff that I normally talk to you all about. I know we've kind of been talking about some things that's happening in Chicago, but my main focus is taxes and business, right? So outside of life and life issues, a lot of the topics that I talk about on here are business and taxes. And then we go over credit sometimes too. But I wanted you all to be able to know and understand and get some knowledge and information. And let's get a little deeper into things, right? Oh, thank you so much, Aesthetics Guru. You say, I'm here for the knowledge. What's up? Thank you. You didn't tempt me before I even started talking. That's what I'm talking about. Let's roll. Gratitude. Thank you so much, Aesthetics. So tonight, you all, I wanted to come on and we actually talk about a financial topic, right? I've shared with you all that it's a couple of different ways that you can get into home ownership, right? So I know I put a video out like a week ago talking about the whole Section 8 thing with Chicago and the migrants, right? But one of the things that I like to do is also give you all some information, right? So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Patrice L. Stewart, the Realist Tax and Business Strategist. And also go ahead and hit the like button on this video and then follow the page and the channel as well, because I'm sure you're going to enjoy some of this information. So tonight I wanted to go over with you all why my LLC owns my properties, right? I have 2 properties, and I've shared on my page and channel before with my audience kind of how I did that, right? And so right now with everything going on with, housing, how it's a big, huge thing right now with the housing market. A lot of people feel like they can't afford to buy a home because houses are being sold for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, right? So last week I did a video showing you all how to get into tax liens, how to look up tax liens, how to kind of start researching and figuring out other ways to buy and own property, right? So some of you all have actually already purchased your first home, your primary residence, which is great, right? But if you're thinking about buying more property, if you're thinking about becoming a real estate investor, becoming a landlord where you're going to rent out your property to other people, then I want you to hear this, and listen to this. Again, one of the biggest things that we are not taught in this country, especially when you go to, I'm going to just say public school, right? Because I never went to private school. My mom didn't, we didn't do private school. I went to public school in Chicago, right? So if you go to public school, you're not taught stuff like this. You're not taught taxes. You're not taught business. You're not taught credit. I think now entrepreneurship is talked about a little more in school, but these are things that you're not taught, right? So if you are buying a property and you know that you're going to rehab that property, you're going to rent it out, think about doing it this way, right? So I have a couple of different things set up, but what I did was I set up a property management company, right? So I created a property management company because I knew that I wanted to buy property and get into real estate. Whether I was wholesaling it, flipping it, fixing it, renting it out, whatever. I knew that I wanted to get into real estate. All right. So because of that, and because I'm in the tax industry, I know that you get better tax write-offs and deductions when you're a business, when you're set up as a business, right? So as an individual homeowner, if any of you all who are on here and you're watching, do you know what you're able to write off on your taxes as a homeowner? Okay. If you're a homeowner, do you know what you're able to write off? And if you don't know, it's okay. Just, I'll just wait a couple of seconds to see if I get an answer in the chat. Right. So as a homeowner, do you know what you're able to write off on your tax return when you file your taxes every year? Right. I'm just not seeing, I'm looking at the chat now, Coco. Hey, you say, girl, I ran over here to like and comment. Thank you. Shay says, great knowledge. Thank you. I'm new, but love all the information that you give. Thanks for everything. I want to do those things too. Okay. All right. So let's roll. So when you are an individual homeowner, okay, I file taxes all year round, filing taxes right now, taking a break for a moment to talk to y'all. Okay. So when you're an individual homeowner, the only thing that you're able to write off is, I don't know what can be written off. I need to build a home on my land and still keep taxes low as possible. Okay. So according to the IRS, when you are an individual, right, when you're filing your personal taxes, you get to write off your mortgage interest. If you have a mortgage on the property, you get to write off the mortgage interest, right? Not the whole mortgage payment, just the interest on that payment. All right. And then you get to write off the taxes that you paid. Okay. Those are really the only two things that you get to write off. All right. Now, if you decided that you wanted to upgrade your home, let's say you redid your kitchen. Let's say you spent $30,000 to redo your kitchen, right? You got granite countertops, you got a nice island in the middle, you got drawers, huge refrigerator, all that stuff, right? You decked it out, floors, windows, everything. Okay. Guess what? A lot of my clients come in and they're like, oh, I just spent, $30,000 upgrading my basement or my kitchen. And they expect to come in and get a tax write-off. And I have to tell them, this is not a tax deduction. And they're like, what? This is not a tax deduction. I'm like, yeah, why you didn't call me before you got to doing all of this? Right? And so this is another thing I want to share with you all. If you have an actual tax preparer, an actual tax professional, right, and you actually trust these people that are doing your taxes, call them first before you make big and major purchases. All right, because my clients should know this, but we have this conversation. I have this conversation every year, probably with at least somebody. right? And this is part of the reason. You all are not having conversations with professionals before you just go doing stuff, right? Because I would have told them the proper way to do this, all right? So, as I stated, if you are a personal homeowner and you own the house that you live in, this is your personal dwelling for you and your family to live in, okay? You don't get to write off rehab. You don't get none of that. I don't care how much money you spent on your patio, your basement, your garage, whatever. That is not a tax write-off for you because you're an individual. So in the individual tax code on the irs.gov website, all right, under individuals, it breaks down what you get to write off as a homeowner. All right. And the only thing you get is the mortgage interest and you get to write the taxes off. All right. Now, this is the other thing. What did I tell you? Oh, when you rehabbed it, that I had already pretty much said that, right? So now let's think in a business mindset, right? This is why I say I like to retrain you all to think from being an individual and a consumer to thinking business. Because what do I always share with you? America is a business. America is a corporation. All right. So if you are thinking about, and let me say this, let me also put this stipulation. This is not a strategy for you if your only real estate property is your dwelling, right? If you're not interested in buying more property, buying more land, and this is only for your house, then this is not really going to work. Okay? Because it has to make sense, right? So again, every strategy that I say on here is not for everybody. This is not a one size fits all, right? It has to make sense in order for the strategy to work the way that it's going to work. All right. So let me just stipulate that. If you don't care about being a landlord and having no property, then this is just informational purposes for you. Okay. Now, some of you all who do want to go further than your personal dwelling, then this is the way to do it. All right. So when you are a company, a business, LLC, corporation, non-for-profit, falls up under that category as well, right? But most of the time when you're dealing with real estate investors and owners, a lot of them are set up as LLCs, right? It could be an LLC that has an S corp attached to it. It could be an LLC as a single member owner. It can be an LLC as a partnership. Okay. What I will say is if you are an LLC that is a single member owner, your taxes are completely different because you file your taxes with your personal taxes, right? You're filing a Schedule C tax form. So this is not the same when you're filing on the Schedule C. All right. I just want to put that stipulation on there too. Now, if you're filing an LLC as a partnership, okay, or as a corporation, taxed as a corporation, then this is a different type of strategy. All right. So now I'll answer questions in one moment. So now, right, what the setup is, or what the setup that I did was I have a trust. Okay. I have a trust. And then I have a holding company within that trust. All right. And then my holding company owns my other companies. All right. So I restructured myself like 2 years ago. I had all my companies separated, individually on their own. Now that I actually have created my trust, right? My trust sits at the top. Then I have a holding company. And then I have other companies under that holding company. All right. I could draw the diagram, but I'll figure that out later. I'm not really in the mood for writing right now, right? So the reason why I did that and the reason why I have my companies under a holding company is for asset protection. All right. As you start growing in your investments or your business or both, right? If you're an entrepreneur, and you start growing in business and you start making more money in your business, you want to start putting that money into other pots, right? To make more money. So eventually so some of you all who love to have your LLC and it's doing 10 different things, you're not going to do that, right? You can't have a lawn care company and then you doing hair under that same LLC. You doing taxes under that same LLC. Like a lot of you all commingle your businesses under one name. And that's really the most horrible way to do business, right? Because now you're filtering everything under one. Right. And I've seen it. People come and say, I got this, I got that. I'm like, how are you running 10 different companies under one LLC, baby? Like that don't even make sense. Right. So now you're putting all of your different assets, right? All of your different companies really are in trouble. You know, if one gets in trouble, now the others get in trouble because you have everything rolled up into one. Right. But I'm getting a little off track. Let me get back on the why my LLC owns my home. Okay. I have to tell myself that sometimes. Stay on track, Patrice. Stay on track. So in this case, if you want to rent property, right, or have a rental properties or things like that, one, set up a LLC or a corporation to do that under, right? Two, the reason why you're doing that is for the tax benefits and breaks. All right. Now, let's say if you know that you're looking at a property, and let's say you may have to put $30,000 into it, right? You know this going in. It does not make sense for you to put that property under your personal name, right? And then say that you want to write off all of this different stuff. Now, when it comes to taxes in the IRS, if they ever wanted to audit you and ask you for paperwork, ask you for proof, ask you for receipts, right? It's a lot easier for you to show proof and receipts as a business, right? When I say a business, as a registered LLC, corporation, LLC with an S corp, however you're set up, right? When you have those articles of incorporation or articles of organization from your individual state, that is a big difference from you, just Susie, saying, hey, I had these different tax deductions, right? You are scrutinized more as an individual than you are as an LLC or a corporation. Okay. So one, and then the biggest and most important part of this is when you are an LLC or corporation, guess what? Your rehab is now a tax write-off. Because when you do a rehab, you have several different people coming in, right? You have an electrician coming in, you may have to pay the electrician. You have a plumber coming in, you might have to pay the plumber. You have drywall, right? If they're building a wall, tearing a wall down, you may have demolition. So you may hire a contractor for that, right? A general contractor, right? So now these are all different people that you have paid out on this project, right? But now because it's a business, see, big difference. It's a business. So now it's a business expense. Now it's a business tax deduction. So when I bought my family house back, and I had to spend, because I ended up having to spend $30,000 because I had to really do my rehab twice. The first rehab did not go well. The people didn't do what they were supposed to do. So I had to pay somebody else to come back in and redo it. So I pretty much had to spend $30,000, right? But I knew that I was going to have to rehab the property. So it made no sense for me to buy the property under my personal name. You get that? So it made more sense for me to set up a company, the LLC. And now I'm able to get my money back. Because if I'm going to spend 15 to 30 bands, I want my money back. You get what I'm saying? I don't want it back when I sell the house. Because that's how the IRS treats you all as individuals. You buy your personal home and dwelling. But if you rehab your own house and you spend 30 bands to fix your kitchen, the IRS is not giving you a tax break for that. because in their eyes, you will get that money back when you sell the property. And again, this is why we're taught the wrong way in the American system is you're taught to go and get debt. You're taught to go buy your house, which is debt. You're taught to go buy a car, which is debt. You're not taught to start the business first, get you a rental property, get you a 3-unit, 4-unit, right? In the beginning, that's going to bring in some income. And then now you can go and buy your dream house. Now you could go and buy your dream car because your property or your business is paying for it, right? But we're not taught that in American society. We're taught to go to school, get an education, pay all this money for college, and get a mediocre job, work check to check, live day to day, live day to day, and by the time if you make it to 70, you great and you die, right? Like that's not the dream. That's not a dream, right? So so a lot of you all are still living that false lie that you was taught, you know what I'm saying, in American society. But once, for me, I can't speak for you, but for me, once I learned financial literacy, once I got into taxes and business and learning business taxes, I got to see the world a lot differently. Right. And then once I got off of that corporate slave trade, as I've shared with y'all, I no longer had to work for corporate America. And I was working for myself to bring my own money in and take care of myself and my mother for these last 11 years, completely independent and not with a 9-to-5 job. Again, I was able to open up my mind because you're not blinded. You get what I mean? You're not blinded by society and what society tells you. So I do need you all to like this video. If you're watching, hello, go ahead and give me a like and follow the page as well. I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to go through the comments before I keep going. Because I said a little bit. Let's see what you all have here. She say, I didn't know this. I know you didn't, she say. A lot of people not talking about this. I do trust my tax preparer. Okay. So Fahim says, why wouldn't you go with a C Corp instead of an LLC? So Fahim, I just want to know, why do you automatically think that I should go with a C Corp instead of an LLC? So what I like to explain to you all is every single one of you, every single one of us are different, right? I'm not you and you're not me. I don't know your situation and you don't know mine. So there's no one size fits all when it comes to business setup, business entity registration, right? So this is the reason why you have to have the conversation with your professional directly on what works best for you, right? For me, a corporation for my real estate company was not the best setup. Like I said, a lot of real estate investors set up as an LLC, limited liability company. All right. Now, you can always apply for to be taxed corporately, which is why I stated you can be an LLC and you can be taxed as an S corp. So that is what I decided to do. I didn't want to be a corporation for my real estate company, right? So I set my real estate company up as an LLC. And then as the company starts making money and you're able to pay yourself from that company, then you can apply for an S corp, right? Which means I'm taxed the same way as a corporation is. All right. Actually, I'm taxed. A S corp gives you a little better. All right. In depending on the situation. So everyone's situation is different. So when you all get on here and ask me that, I always just like to know, why are you asking me that? Right? Because a C corp may be the best for you, right? But it may not be the best for me. So there's no one size fit all when it comes to business and how it's set up. I want all of you all to be aware of that. Okay. So when someone gets on and say, well, I did it this way, I did it that way. Well, you did it that way because that was worked for you. right? So that's how business is, and that's why I like you all to know that. All right, it's not the same. All my companies are S corps, and I want to buy a duplex. Hey Andrea. Okay. So then Fahim's next question was, why don't you just set up an offshore company and send all of your profits there as a licensing fee? Okay. Fahim, you may be onto something, right? I'm not on the sending my money to offshore company yet. I'm gonna say that. Okay. You may be a lot more advanced than I am, right? So maybe setting up the offshore company and sending the profits over there are where are what's best for you, right? And the amount of money and the income that you're making. Again, it has to make sense, right? So me setting up an offshore company for what I'm doing right now, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, maybe in a couple of years, because I'm now starting to really build my portfolio up. But for 2 properties, no, it doesn't make sense to do that. The paperwork is going to cost me more than what I'm going to get in tax breaks. Okay. But I like the way you think it, Fahim. But again, some people like you that are more advanced, y'all for some reason had this mindset that everybody is there, right? And the thing with business and taxes, it's levels to this. I'm not going to jump out the window going to offshore accounts and I'm still building up down here. You get what I'm saying? So y'all got to understand that it's levels to this. I'm never going to jump out the window trying to do what Trump and some other people doing, because they making hundreds of millions of dollars. God willing, yes, I'll be there. Right? But this conversation is more for some people who are still starting out, getting acclimated. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful, right? When you get on people things and you like, well, why you don't do this and why you don't do that? Because that's not for everybody, baby. It's levels to this life, right? And you got to know where you at. That's amazing, sis. You brought back your family home. Definitely. I'm going to have shirts in a moment saying, don't sell grandma's house. Okay. Because that's the other thing that we own heavy, especially for me in Chicago, is y'all not selling your grandmama house. Okay. Part of this conversation is that, right? Is us of understanding this. So that way you know not to sell grandma's house. You can keep it and rent it out. Mr. Allen, listen and learn. Great info. Thank you. Andrea, so can I do that with my home I'm in now? So that's what I'm saying, Andrea. It has to make sense for you to do that if that's your personal dwelling, right? So if it's your personal dwelling, then you have to have you got to have another paperwork, right? You have to have different paperwork that you're going to set up for that. So again, I talked to you all about leasing, creating like a leasing agreement. If you create a company, an LLC or a corporation, and that's your property management company, then now you have to create a lease agreement between you and that property management company, right? So it's other things to do with that. But you came in late, Andrea. I remember you saying that. So I did say at the beginning of my video, if this is your individual dwelling that you're living in, right? You already have a mortgage on it in your name, things like that. This wouldn't necessarily be that strategy, right? This is actually a better strategy for those of you all who know that you're going to be investing in other property, land, real estate, etc., right? Because now you're setting that company or holding company up, right? Because technically the more properties that you buy, each property should have its own LLC. Let's also state that, right? So if I have I got to get some props here at the house. But if I have a holding company, right? You can have one holding company, and that holding company can own multiple LLCs. So every property you own should have its own LLC, right? So if you got 5 properties, then you should have 5 LLCs under that real estate holding company. But what some people do is they go and buy multiple properties under their name, under their personal name, right? And so again, you can say that these properties are for business, but again, when it comes down to the IRS and the paperwork, a lot of times they'll ask you for a lot more proof. But when you are actually set up as an entity, an LLC, and then the LLC is billed, is paying the bills of the property, it's a lot easier, for you to be able to write off the things that you need to write off. It's not saying that you can't do it that way, because a lot of people still own property, even though that they're in their personal name, but it's just better paperwork wise and asset protection, right? Because unfortunately, let's say you and your wife decide to buy a property, right? Let's say you and the wife get divorced. Now, all of that property that y'all bought together goes in that divorce agreement, most of the time, right? But if you have a company and you separate yourself, right? Your wife own one company, you own one company, it's a lot different, right? So a lot of times too, when we're talking about asset protection, sometimes you husbands and wives need to know that both of your names don't have to go on your house, right? As far as when you apply, right? One spouse can apply for the house, and then that way another spouse can buy another property. So a lot of times you all are thinking like, oh, my name got to be on the house, it got to be on the property. It can be. When you're married, you can still go on the title and deed, right? But you don't have to be on the loan. So this way, this doesn't tie up both of your income and your assets in that loan application, right? If you're buying a $500,000 house and both of you are on the house, right? That's not a need. Some of you all think it is, but it's not a need. All right. One person, right, can go on the house. This way now the wife or the husband can buy another property, all right, individually. Right. So you guys got to start learning this type of stuff. And it's really, it's actually better, right? It's better asset protection. And so when you have these different things put together, you also can create trust and agreements. Okay. So if things don't work out, certain properties get, you get to keep, they get to keep, etc. But all of that can be on paperwork, right? All of that could also be on paper, right? So paperwork is a huge thing. So just because you're married doesn't mean that you're going to get everything, depending on the state you're in. Now, if you're in California, y'all know that the spouse automatically get 50-50, right? But in other states, if you have your paperwork set up right, then both of y'all could walk away winning. I'm going to just say that. Okay, let's get back to these questions. It's 30 minutes already. I've been on here. So, okay, right. So the last person I answered was Andrea, who is asking about doing that with your personal home. So I don't recommend this strategy if it's just your one personal home. No. Because it's a lot of paperwork involved with it. It's got to make sense. Thank you, Coco. So eraser. So using an LLC hurts with getting loans and leveraging, though. For example, I will want to house hack with the FHA, and which you can do. You can definitely do that. You can definitely do the house hack with the FHA, right? And so again, it's ways that you can filter the paperwork, right, from your personal name and dwelling to where your LLC can kind of manage things. So, and I wouldn't say it necessarily hurts you, but yes, using an LLC also when you're trying to get loans through FHA and stuff like that, then yes, of course, let's just be clear, right? Because FHA is Fair Housing Authority. So pretty much what the FHA loans are, most of those are for individuals, right? I don't know if they have FHA loans for businesses. I know most of the time it's for individuals, right? So as an individual, yes, you can buy the house and the dwelling, but you'll need to have documentation or paperwork as to the ownership or transferring ownership over to your LLC, so that way your LLC can get the tax write-offs and deductions that you don't get, right? So that's the biggest thing, eraser. So that was a good question. So an LLC doesn't, I don't want to say it hurts you, but it will not qualify you for the same type of loans that you can get as an individual, like the FHA, right? And so, and I'm glad you stated that, because for me, I didn't do any lending. I used all of my money out of pocket, right? So even when I purchased my family house back, I spent $40,000 of my own money out of pocket, right? I didn't go to a lender. So again, this is a different type of conversation, and it's not going to be a one size fits all for everybody. But there is a way that you can still get things done where the LLC can take over, right? So in my case, with my family house, the family member is actually still on the mortgage, right? But my LLC manages the property, right? So, and my LLC did the rehab for the property, right? Not my family member. Okay. So in that case, we did a quick claim deed. And that could be something that that intertwines the LLC and yourself, right? So in that aspect, we did a quick claim deed from the family member, quick claim deeding the house over to me, my LLC, right? So they didn't quit claim deed the house over to me, Patrice Stewart. They quit claim deed the house over to my LLC. So that way, my LLC has legal rights and obligations over the property now, right? With that one document, that one quit claim deed now gave my LLC legal rights and obligations to that property. So now I'm able to do the rehab, right? Because now I'm taking this property in under my property management company. This is a property that we're managing, right? This is a property that we're rehabbing. We're fixing it up to be able to put a tenant in it, all of that, right? So it's always ways around things. Okay. So definitely go ahead and get your FHA money, eraser, but then maybe look at doing a quick claim deed to get the property write-offs under the business. 18 people watching and only 9 likes. Girl, that's how they be. That's how they be. I promise you. They'll watch and listen to all your stuff, and that's how it is today with a lot of people on social media, baby. That's why I'm not on social media as much for free. I have a private membership community, and that's where I focus my real time and energy, is with the people who pay. Because when you pay attention. All right. Tila, thank you. I currently own a commercial property in my name, but will want to transfer that into an LLC in the state of Texas. As you should, eraser. As you should. As you should, especially with it being a commercial property. You definitely should look into the LLC, the transferring it. Thanks. America is a business. LLC as a partner, a trust as a holding company, as an asset protected. When I think of C Corp, I think of multi-million-dollar companies. I'm not there yet. So no, you should not, Coco, think of a C Corp as multi-million-dollar companies, because let me just tell you, the government considers a small business a company that makes up to $500 million. So when everybody be around here, oh, I'm a small business, I'm a small business. Have you done 500 million? Because in the eyes of the IRS and the government, okay, $500 million and under is considered small business. All right. So I'm going to need you to think bigger. All right. Because you are in that category, right? You just haven't made your millions yet. But if you consider yourself a small business owner, then guess what? You are a business who makes under $500 million. So that means we got to get to that 500 million to be out of the small business category. So no, and that's what I tell people all the time. Don't think like that. Like if you like, I saw myself as Steve Jobs, right? People don't understand that especially because I'm on the internet. If I'm online and I'm talking to you and I'm educating you, some people think they could just call your office and talk to you. Oh, Patrice, I saw you on the internet. I love you. I want to talk to you. But I'm the CEO of a company. So you can't just pick up and call Apple CEO and talk to him, right? You can't just pick up and call Jeff Bezos at Amazon and talk to him, right? It's the same thing with me. Just because I'm not making $500 million a year don't mean that I'm not a boss. Don't mean that I'm not a CEO of a company, right? So you still have a company, you still have a business, right? You just haven't made that amount of money, but that don't mean that you're not worthy. You're not there. All right. So yeah, I don't allow where I am today to dictate my future, if that makes sense. I don't allow where I'm at today for somebody to tell me, oh, well, you're not a real CEO. How? I have a company, I have a business, I have an office, I have employees. Like, how I'm not, right? But that, so that comes with, the mindset thing. But I want you to not think like that, because you are like a multi-million-dollar company. You just haven't made your millions yet. That's all. Once I could pay myself, set up and escorted. You say set up and escorted, right? So the question that I get a lot for people is this whole escort thing, right? And when is it the best time to set up an escort? So I personally tell people, you're not ready to be an escort until you are ready to pay taxes on the income that you're making, right? And when I say taxes, W-2, like payroll taxes, because that's the requirement, right? So as an escort, the IRS requires like 8 to 9 different things of you, right? Majority of you all are going to fall in the category where it's less than 100 shareholders. You don't have any foreign owners. You can't have foreign owners, people that stay outside of the United States. It's a couple of things, right? But majority of you going to fit that. You're going to qualify for that. Where you're not, where you may or may not qualify is, are you ready to pay yourself regular payroll? Because that is the commitment. When you're asking to be taxed as an S Corp, you're asking the IRS. All right. And an S Corp can go with an LLC. It can go with a corporation. It can go with a partnership. All right. So that's why when the gentleman was asking, well, why didn't you do a C Corp? I don't have to do a C Corp. I can do an LLC and still be taxed as a corporation. Right. So different entities can be taxed as a corporation. All right. So I want you all to know that. But the biggest thing is, can you pay yourself payroll? Right? So even if it's monthly, because some people do get paid once a month, some people get paid bi-weekly, some people get paid on the 1st and the 15th. So as long as you can set up payroll and you can afford to pay yourself either monthly, bi-weekly, the 1st and the 15th, right? Then you qualify. So for me, a lot of people who are in business are not really there yet, right? When they decide to be an S Corp, because that's one thing that a lot of them don't, I feel like, either have not talked to the right professional, were not explained that information. But if you are a brand new company and you haven't made any money, you should not be an S Corp out the gate, right? Because you're automatically putting yourself into having to pay taxes. So you have to pay taxes on the money anyway as an LLC. You're gonna pay a little more because on a Schedule C you pay about 36% in taxes. So if you made 100,000, the IRS is looking for about 36,000 in federal taxes. That's just federal. That's not even including your state, right? But that's the reason why we say. So for me, I say if you can really do it and consistently pay yourself as a service provider, making at minimum $75,000 a year, then yes, go ahead and do it. If you're in a sales-based business, a product-based business, we usually say $100,000 or more. Because the other thing is you have to pay yourself a reasonable salary, right? So if you made 100,000, you could pay yourself $25,000 in the salary, and then the rest you can take as distributions, right? If you need any additional money and income. But then now you're only being taxed on well, you're being taxed as far as like the W-2 wages, right? Having W-2 wages like federal, state, Medicare, that type of stuff come out, right? So now you're only being taxed on $25,000 of that income, and then anything else that you want to pull out can be considered a distribution, right? But yeah, I mean, so if you're not making at least 75,000 as a service-based business, we don't recommend. A lot of us in the tax industry does not recommend that you start, that you file to be an S corp just yet, right? So you got to be making money in your business before you get there, because otherwise it just doesn't make sense. Okay, hold on, y'all. Y'all got a little light. Y'all got a little lengthy on me on here. Let me go back. What's the last question that I started? Um. Okay, that's the last one I saw. She Shay, you was like, once I could pay myself, set up an S corp, right? I see your comment, Eraser. Mr. Allen TV, offshore accounts, feds gonna think you money laundering. No, Mr. Allen, and that's not true. Because I mean, you can have legal offshore accounts. A lot of wealthy people do. That's what I'm saying. It's levels to this, right? It's levels to this and how you set up the account, where the account is, all of that. But it's not illegal to have an offshore account, right? So it's not, again, it's not necessarily what the Fed's gonna think you doing. It's what you're doing and then how you're doing it. If you know what I'm saying. And then the Fed's got to have a reason, to come after you. But a lot of your wealthy people have offshore accounts. Believe that, okay? And again, it's all about it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And it's the same way with the US government and the tax code. The US government has a tax code that is laid out, and those that are smart enough to read it or pay someone like myself who knows it, right? Then you learn a lot of stuff. And it sounds very illegal a lot of times, right? But again, it's written in the tax code. So a lot of business stuff that is able to be written off, y'all will be like, you are fucking lying, right? Like, so believe me, okay? It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So the other gentleman that was on here, he's way more advanced. I'm gonna just say that, right? If that's where he's at, then he's way more advanced. And I ain't mad at him. I'm glad for you, happy for you, because technically taxation is not even. We're not even supposed to be paying taxes like this, but that's a whole nother other conversation. I ain't gonna go there today. Tropical says, great topic. Thank you. Coco, you say, I don't own a home yet. I'm hoping I'm hoping to buy a duplex or a fourplex and do this. Can I start a leasing company without a license and manage my own property with a different company that I own? So a leasing company and a property management company are kind of two different things. Okay. I personally listed my company as a property management company, right? I'm not in formal property management. I've worked with some property managers, right? With things like that. So you want to look up both of those first, Coco, before you kind of really get to setting your stuff up with it. Um, because you definitely don't want to have the two kind of intertwined together, if that makes sense. Or you want to have someone else or a different company maybe owning the other company, but you definitely don't want to have both of them kind of intertwined together. Um, you can own multiple companies, and companies can own companies. If you all didn't know that, your company can own your company. So you don't always have to be on your paperwork when it comes to the business, right? Um, but yeah, that's going to be something that you want to look up a little more. I can't speak on a leasing company directly, but I can definitely tell you that you can set up a basic property management company without having a license. But the leasing company I can't speak on. I don't know that one. So I can buy a new property. So yes, you all, if you didn't notice, let me say this. And like the gentleman eraser said, I like that he put that out there. You can't go get like a FHA loan under it, right? Because those are for individuals. But let's just say you get approved for a FHA loan, right? With an FHA loan, I want to say you can get up to 4 units with that one loan, right? So most people, when they go try to buy a house, and then they look at your income and they say, "Oh, okay, you qualify for 400,000," right? They're going to give you a dollar amount that you qualify for, but that doesn't mean. But the average person, you all automatically think, "Let me go find me a house," right? And this is where the education part comes in, right? You don't need a single dwelling. All right. Especially if you want to make some money, especially if you want your lifestyle to be paid for by your investments. Right. I learned that when I bought my first house. I bought my first house. It was just me and my mom and my dog. Right. I had this nice big house in Cal City, 2,000 square foot house. But guess what? That was a bill. That was another bill. That mortgage payment, that insurance, the upkeep on that house, the get, everything, light, gas. When you in a house, it's a bigger space. It's not like an apartment, right? So you're not paying $90 for your ComEd bill. You paying more like 300, 400. In the wintertime, your bill can easily be $400 or $500. Okay. So you don't think about all that though. You just be like, oh, I want me a house. I want my first house. Right. But again, from experience, I learned I didn't need no house. I should have bought me a 3 flat. Or because I had a business, I could have bought a commercial property with with up to 2 apartments on it. Right. And so I had to tell my aunt, because she was my real estate agent at the time. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me that I had these other options? Because I wouldn't have bought this house if I would have known that I could have bought with that same approval, right? You went to FHA. You went to a bank that got you approved through FHA. Let's be clear, because you're not going to FHA directly. You're going to Chase, Bank of America, whatever lender, loan company you're going through, and then you got finance through FHA financing. Let's be clear and correct with how we're explaining things on here to you all, especially some of you all who may not know. Right. But when you go and you get that loan approval, a lot of times they don't explain that to you. Right, that hey, with this 400,000, you can actually go and get up to a 4-unit building, right? And so you have to learn that from other people, places that are talking about it, and everyone isn't talking about that, right? So now, knowing what I know, I say that to you all a lot more. And I say that more because a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to be a homeowner. I don't want to deal with rent and all this. But let me also say this. Life is not always about what you want to deal with. You have to get back to the feeling of life of, I'm leaving a legacy. I want to pass something down. I want to leave something for my kids, right? Because that's how I was taught. Like my grandmother and my grandfather, they taught me about trust. They taught me about estate planning. They taught me about the importance of having a life insurance and homeowner. You get what I'm saying? So you can't just always be like, well, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. Like if it makes sense and it's better for you to do it this way, right? Maybe you live in that unit for 2 or 3 years, build up, save up. Now you can go and buy the dream house that you want. Now you can go and buy the single family dwelling that you want. And guess what? When you move out of that apartment, that's another amount of income that you get. Because now you went from renting 3 apartments out to now your apartment is available. So now that's 4 incomes you have coming in from that building. Those 4 apartments alone should cover the mortgage. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not the same way it was back in the day, because back in the day you could get a 3-unit building for $200,000. Right now, y'all paying $400,000 and $500,000 for a freaking single family home. Okay, but in Chicago, in some areas, you could still find a 3-unit building for $400,000, $450,000, $475,000. I think somebody posted on Instagram the other day an off-market 3-unit building for $300,000, but it needed a rehab, right? So think like that, right? But if you were able to buy more and have more and rent it out to have income coming in, then that makes sense. Because now that one building pays your mortgage for your house, right? Or that pays your car note that you want to drive, right? So you got to think like that. Back to the questions. She said, I would like to buy a duplex. A loan might become due immediately if the deed or title is switched to an LLC. No, a loan might become due immediately if the deed or title is switched to an LLC. So having a quit claim deed on the property does not immediately make the loan due. And now I can only speak for the state of Illinois. So I'm in the state of Illinois. Maybe in another state it could be different, but in the state of Illinois it does not. That's the reason why I was able to do that. So the mortgage is still to the family member. I pay the mortgage through my LLC, right? And the other reason why I do that is I pay the mortgage directly from my business. And guess what? I've already talked to a lender. If I wanted to pull equity out of this property, because I have equity in it, right? If I wanted to pull equity out the property, that was one of the requirements from the lender was I paying the mortgage. So the fact that I could show proof that I've been paying the mortgage and I only need to show 6 months worth of payments, then I can get a loan out on this property under the LLC. So that's what I'm saying, right? Everything is not a one size fit all, but I do also want to say that it could be different depending on the state that you live in, because every state does have their own laws and rules and things like that. So that's why I do like to always say, I'm giving you my experience, but I also live in Illinois. All right. So I do want to put that out there. But in Illinois, the deed will not be due immediately just because I have a quit claim deed issued to it. The quit claim deed pretty much allows you rights to the property. If anything happened to the family member, if they passed away today, then I have legal rights to the property, right? If something happened, once again, with the property, if I have insurance under the property under my LLC, that gives me the legal authority to be able to claim this property, especially while it's a mortgage still on it, right? So if you have a grandparent or a family member and the mortgage is not, and they don't have a mortgage, then your quit claim deed is, you straight. But if they do have a mortgage, then that paperwork, that deed being on record, lets the mortgage company know, and any type of legal representation, something happening, lawsuit, something like that, lets them know that you have legal rights to that property. That's what the quit claim deed does. So it covers you as well as the investor. You say, but I have a $300K commercial condo office paid off in Texas. Yeah, see, and again, you in Texas, so I'm not familiar with Texas real estate laws right now. But I'm in Illinois and it's different about with crypto money. So okay, now Eraser, that's what I'm talking about. $300,000 commercial condo office that's paid off. Yeah, that's dope. Eraser, congratulations. And that's money. I mean, anything that's paid off, then that's money. You know, whatever that, I'm sure the property is worth more than 300,000. Okay, let me scroll down. Okay, the last one I think, so I could buy a new property in my LLC. Okay, right. That's the other thing I didn't finish saying, Andrea. So the other thing is when you do buy property, let's say outright, let's say you are not financing it and you have some money and you buy the property with your LLC, right? If you're looking to get funding, right? Of course, if you got your own money and you buying a crib, it's 20,000, then you just buying it outright, right? In my case, I had to get the property out of foreclosure, which was 40,000, and then I rehabbed it twice. So I spent about 30,000 because I had to do it twice. So also I would have only spent 15,000, right? But that was me taking my cash, my money that I earned. I would never do that again. Okay, let me just say that I would never use that amount of money again out of my own pocket towards a real estate investment. No, right? Moving forward, I will use other people's money because now that I've learned and to learn some things and know what I know, that I can use other people's money, right? But I will say this: if you are planning on buying a property under an LLC or a corporation, and like I said, 90% of the time, most real estate investors are set up as an LLC. Okay. There are reasons why people do it as a corporation, but just standard, kind of flat standard operating, most real estate investors are set up as an LLC. Now, if they have an LLC with an S corp, that's different, right? But that's kind of the standard. But when you do business loans, I will say this, and Eraser was right, you're going to pay more, right? On average, they look for about 20% down. Okay. Now you may find a deal that may want a little less. You may find one that wants a little more, but on average, you're looking at about 20% down. So if you're buying a $300,000 building under your LLC, they're going to look for you to put about $60,000 down. All right. So yes, when you do things under the LLC, it does cost more. But what I will say is if you have decent credit, right? And you didn't want to do this under your personal name, you can literally set up an LLC tonight. Okay. It can be what I like about this option is it can be a brand new LLC, right? It could be a brand new LLC. You can set the paperwork up tonight or tomorrow, and you can go to a lender, a hard money lender. Most of these lenders will be a hard money lender. Okay. You're learning some terminology. Some things y'all gonna have to research on your own too. Okay. Hard money lenders are the ones who usually do a lot of these deals. But this is the other reason. A lot of them do the deals because you're going to be renting the property out. And that's why I said this is not something that you want to do for your personal dwelling. All right. The strategy is not the same. Because normally when you do hard money lending, they'll loan you the money for anywhere between 3 to 6 months. It will be a certain interest rate that they're charged, but things happen. Sometimes the property doesn't get sold, or sometimes the project takes longer, right? The 3 to 6 months. If you in hurricane season, unfortunately, people are being rained out, town shut down, your whole real estate project may be shut down. I had that happen to a client, unfortunately, and they lost a lot of money on that deal because of that, right? So again, this is not something that you just want to randomly do. This is something that should be strategic. This is something that you should be researching, studying, asking a ton of questions about, right? Before you just go out there and do it. All right. Again, I'm sharing some things with you that you can take some notes from, right? That's just really what it is. But I'm not on here saying go and do this. Okay. So Andrea, I like your questions, but I think you are jumping to the gun a lot. So I would like to buy a duplex. Okay. So she goes like, okay, that's what I need to do. I need to transfer my land to my business before I start building on it. And again, Chico, that may not necessarily be, right? Depending on, right? It depending on this whole situation. You wanna sit down with a professional that can analyze what you shared with me a little bit when we spoke on the phone, kind of what you were looking to do, but it would you would go in a lot more detail and planning when it comes to like setting up your trust, right? Setting up this quick claim deed and all of that, right? You want to actually, so I don't do everything. I have attorneys that I work with. I have people that I work with, right? Even for me, I did my own quick claim deed, but I still had my attorney review it. I still reached out to my attorney, told her what I was doing, had her review it, look at the paperwork. She filed it for me, right? So again, all right. This is something that you want to have a real serious conversation with a professional about. All right. So I'm just giving y'all some ideas, y'all. Don't just throw everything out and be like, okay, I got to do it this way, right? Because again, everybody's plans and goals are different. Okay, a loan might become, okay, I saw that. A loan might become immediately due. That's what I was telling him. Every state is different. Premium Network, I actually do offer a mentorship program. So I have one-on-one, and then I have a online group coaching program, financial literacy program that we do. So I think I put it in the description in the video, the links that takes you there. I wish I'd have known this so much sooner. Coco, you are young, baby. You still in your 20s, baby. Okay. Well, some of us are 35 and up. I'm 43. Okay. I learned this 10 years ago, within the last 10 years. Right. So with you learning this in your early 20s, girl, you already winning. Okay. You say, sadly, many CPAs don't tell you this. Then you be up a creek without a paddle. Exactly. Right. And that was another reason why I started getting online, and kind of how I got the slogan, the realist tax and business strategist, because a lot of financial professionals don't get on here and kind of break it down. I feel like when I got on TikTok, I started seeing more people, but Facebook, YouTube, I don't see a whole lot kind of breaking stuff down like this. So that's what makes me different. But yeah, you're learning now. So you're gonna be a baddie. I might need to restructure all of my companies from S Corp to LLC. Well, not necessarily, because even though you were S Corp, so you a C Corp with an S Corp, you didn't have any LLC set up? Because I'm still way up here. So if you've been answering other questions down, I'll scroll to the bottom. But remember, you can have an S corp attached to an LLC or a corporation. So you don't necessarily have to restructure, but if you want to bring in that holding company. So like me, I had to restructure because I wanted to bring in the holding company under the trust. So I was setting up the trust and the holding company at the same time. So I did restructure because I had everything separated. Whereas creating the trust and the holding company allowed me to put multiple companies under the holding company, because the holding company can own multiple companies. If you have a holding company, that's why it's called a holding company, it holds all of your assets. Excuse me. Then the holding company can own the hair salon, the trucking, the trucking company. If you're doing landscaping, you can have all three of those companies under one holding company. So that's the difference when you kind of are restructuring. I want to have my lifestyle paid for by my investment. Exactly, Coco. That's what you want. That's what you want. That is exactly what you want. There she put, yes, exactly. That is how you want it. That is how you want it. Um, wow, you come from a great family. My family doesn't have the knowledge. I'm the one trying to change the way the family handles everything. Hey, that's okay though, Coco. You that one. And that's how it's supposed to be. Eraser says, hey, pleasure finding your channel. It was randomly suggested on my feed and you put out some good stuff. I could tell based on your stream. Oh, thank you, Eraser. Appreciate that. Similar to a subject to loan. Similar to a subject to loan, huh? Right, Eraser. And that is, yeah, it is kind of similar to that. So I'm gonna have to look up Texas laws though, because I got a couple of clients down there. So with you bringing that up, I want to look into that as far as them switching things over could possibly bring their loan due, because I had never heard that before. I know in Illinois it wouldn't do that, but every state is different. And this is why too I talk about taxes, y'all, because you do got two different levels. You got state level and then you have federal level. So what I will say is most of the stuff that I'm sharing with you is based on a federal level, right? So whenever you look anything that's on the irs.gov, and that's my go-to, right? Whenever I'm studying up something, I'm looking up something, I go to irs.gov. That's who is auditing you. That's who accepts your tax returns and all of that, right? But the IRS is also a collection agency, and I want you all to know that. The IRS is not a government agency. They are actually a agency that is hired by the government to collect on your taxes, okay? So it's different, right? But you can treat them just like any other collection agency, but you got to communicate with them the same way you do have any other collection agency, right? But the IRS is the only one that has the authority, right, to go in and touch your bank account, right? But there's still even ways to get around that. So if you all ever, had an issue and your account was, garnished or put on hold by the IRS, there is ways that you can get it unlocked. Coco, I'll mess with you on here. Look at you, baby. She said, can we get the last three people to like? Come on, Coco. I'm gonna have to put you down as a when we give y'all what is it? We could give you like a tag or a name or a moderator. I'm gonna have to put you down, girl, because you be on it. I'm meant to add you as a moderator. Okay, next thing. Okay, Andrea. Is there a certain thing with my daughter's income, helps pay for the mortgage, and sometimes happens to either one of us, the house would be paid off? So no. So So creating a company and all that stuff has nothing to do with your house being paid off, right? Only thing that would cover that is if you actually had because even mortgage insurance isn't paying your house off, right? That's where that comes in with you having like a life insurance policy, right? So a lot of times when you have a life insurance policy, whoever you do it with, they'll ask you stuff like that. You know, do you have a mortgage? Do you have a daughter? Are you paying college tuition? Because what they'll do is they'll add up everything you have, right? If your house is 300,000, if your daughter's college tuition is 100,000, if your child is 7 and they still got 10 more years until they 18, on average, how much is it going to take cost to take care of that child? That's how you get to having $1 million policy, right? So at that point, if you had a life insurance for $1 million policy, if something happens to you, then yes, your daughter could pay your house off, right? If the house has a $200,000 balance, she can pay it off with that $1 million life insurance policy. But there's nothing that I'm talking about that's going to talk about covering or paying off your house. Okay. That's why we have to have financial literacy. That's why you need to have life insurance, because that's really the biggest thing, right? Before you do any of this, have you a life insurance policy in place, right? And the life insurance policy should be the cost of your total living expenses, dwelling, everything, right? So again, if your house is 300,000, your daughter's tuition, stuff like that, at minimum, you need to have about a $500,000 life insurance policy, right? So that's where that comes in. Okay. As far as what I'm talking about, this is all dealing with paperwork, taxes, tax strategy, business strategy, stuff like that. Lending, using your name versus using an LLC or a company name. That's what I'm talking about. More of strategies. Okay. The payoff will come from their life insurance. Also worked 9 years since I've been also worked 9 years since I've been 18. Okay, so you young too then, Eraser. You under 30. um, but like I said, that's dope. I feel like more of you all. What are you all? I think I'm a millennial. I'm 43. I think we still in the newer one is Gen Z, right? Like a lot of you Gen Zers, I feel like are are paying attention, right? My cousin, I think he like 23. Him and his friends, they into that crypto. They learning it. They got some bands in the bank, in a Bitcoin account or whatever. So again, this is some of the stuff that we need to be, kind of talking about. And then you own the $300,000 commercial property. Hey, you winning, man. You winning. Coco say that's how I feel. I practically emptied my savings to buy my farm. Now I need to know how to use other people's money. Exactly, Coco, for building as well as buying a fourplex. That is knowledge I can use too, sis. Okay. Yeah, but Coco, at the end of the day, can't nobody take away that land, baby. If God, then that's the next thing that I'm on. I actually bought some land. I did. I bought some land off of an auction, and I'm just waiting on my like redemption period. But I bought it's a real small amount. It's like less than 5 acres. But I started with something. But I really want to get like some real land, some land, and do exactly what you're doing. Build me up a little compound. Get me some stuff on there, a couple of tiny homes. Maybe rent some Airbnbs. But yeah. So that's the beautiful thing, because I tell everybody, when you own land, if you lost your home today and you had a car, you can go park your car on your land and can't nobody say nothing to you, baby. You can build up on that land, create you a hut, a tent, whatever, right? That land is gold, baby. That land to me is more valuable than a house. For real, for real. Cause your possibilities are endless with land. And then depending on where you are, what is zoned for, if you in an area where you can do farm animals, that's a whole nother other tax write-off and deduction. Y'all heard Rick Ross. Rick Ross didn't get pigs and goats just to be having them, right? It's a tax write-off and deduction. And again, this is what the wealthy do to keep more of their money, right? If you're going to do it and you're going to buy the land, you're going to have 100 acres anyway, you might as well build you up a little farm ranch. You might as well have fresh eggs and goat milk every day. Like, that's what I'm on. Like, so you still winning, Coco. You still winning, right? You still winning. So, okay, I answered that one with Andrea asking about the house paid off. So I have excellent credit. I don't have income. That's my issue. So that is probably, Miss Coco, why you need to go ahead and set up the business, right? Set up the business because the business can make income. Say, yes, my nephew lost a lot on doing that hard money loan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I personally, I wouldn't do a hard money loan right now. Not me personally, right? If I'm going to do this next project, I'm gonna look at doing it the, probably conventional loan, right? Or I haven't done an FHA loan. So I was even thinking about doing that too. Like Eraser said, using now, if I'm going to use my personal name, it's going to be a reason, right? But again, because I know that I can, even with me getting a mortgage on that property in my name to get the lower rate, I can still quit claim deed that property over to my LLC to manage it, right? So for me, that's the route that I was going to go possibly, right? But I've recently talked to a commercial lender, because that's the other thing you need to know and find commercial lenders, right? You got residential lenders, but then you have some lenders that are strictly commercial lenders. So if you're looking to buy property under the business, then you want to know, what those qualifications are, the layouts. Like I said, most of them, the LLC could be brand new. You just need to have the the actual account, open you up a bank account, and then they want that 20% down, right? But if you're not really looking for the funding, right, and it's something that you can kind of do on your own or add your money to something to get more, then yeah, you may want to, weigh your options. That's what I always say. Just weigh your options. But the LLC route for sure is going to cost more, Andrea, than you doing it under your personal. And that's the whole point of me bringing up the quit claim deed, because that's the document that can merge your personal and the business, right? So I definitely want a trust and holding company to best secure everything, right? And again, that's stuff that you can also set up later on, Coco, once you get certain things. Because I've had my company for 14 years. I just restructured 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So you can still get things build up, and then when you're ready to do that, you can. And then I put a video on my YouTube channel, but I noticed that it got a copyright mark by it. So I probably have to redo the video with my own writing, because I pretty much shared a video that an attorney put out on Instagram regarding revocable trust and irrevocable trust. So those are like the two main trusts. So irrevocable, you can't change it. Revocable, you can change it. So if you set up a revocable trust, then you can change it. You can make changes. You can make edits to it, right? But if you set up an irrevocable trust, you cannot change it. So again, that depending on what you're trying to do, that's going to be different, for everybody. But a lot of people do a revocable trust so that way you can make changes to it. Andrea's perspective, I need to get some income, preferably under the table. That's why I said, Coco, set the business up. Set the business up. Set the business up. Giving you hints. Coco say, I just love your spirit. Patrice, and your delivery personality is everything, sis. I have definitely here to push for them likes. Girl, I just love your spirit, Coco. You may actually get to sit down with me real soon, ma'am. Okay. You say no, I'm not. 45 minutes. I had to what I didn't in my youth. You with me almost in 82, baby. But that crypto is hitting. Is it, y'all? Y'all gonna have to teach me that. Nah, for real. If one of y'all busting crypto like that, then you're gonna have to teach me that. Cause I'm still old school. Like I didn't even do a whole lot with the stocks and the stock market. I really only mess with the S&P 500. I don't really get into all them other stocks and stuff, but I'll do the S&P 500. But crypto, yeah, I gotta do more. I got a little something like I bought Shiba, bought like 61. I'm just waiting on Shiba to hit. However, people keep saying how Bitcoin hit and all them people was millionaires. All I need Shiba to do is 1 penny. Shiba just needs to go to a penny, and I will be $700,000 richer. Okay. I just need Shiba to hit a penny. That's it, and I'm gone. Okay, but and this is the reason too why I have the financial literacy membership and community, because it's so much, right? And sometimes we all if you learn one of these things, okay? So to try to learn taxes, crypto, housing, you get what I'm saying? That's why you got to have like a community, right? Because you could be focusing on crypto, somebody else could be focusing on this, somebody else could be focusing on that. And then when you come into community and everybody learns the information, then that's how we all grow. But I for me, I have to learn stuff before I put my money into it, right? So only thing I think I got like $500 in Bitcoin, and I got whatever money I spent on Shiba. And I think I was able to get like 71 million shares or something in Shiba when I first bought it. I think I spent like $400 for that. So when I logged into my crypto the like last week, it was up to like $1,100. So I was like, okay. But yeah. So I'll hold on to the Shiba. I need Shiba to hit. Elon, I need you to get back on Twitter and make some more posts about Shiba so we can get Shiba to that penny, baby. but I didn't know. I thought I lost the Bitcoin trail because I know people was like, you needed to get in early because I'm not buying no $48,000 and $50,000 of no one coin. Now I was told you can still put some money in and make money. You don't have to have that amount. You don't have to buy the whole, one coin or whatever. But I'm still learning on crypto. So maybe one of y'all, maybe one of y'all could teach me some of that. Oh, I skipped that part. I didn't see your comment there, Andrea. You say, okay, I got you. I heard that. I heard someone say that because she's disabled. Now that's true. Now, people that are disabled, they can only make a certain amount of income, right? But personally, you can be a disabled person and be on a company. You can own a business because, again, the business income is not your personal income, right? Because once you set up that LLC, that money is going to that LLC, that EIN. If it gets a 1099, that's not a 1099 issued to you personally, right? So that's why people who are on disability can't do Uber and Lyft and all of that, because it is a 1099 issue to them personally. I think they can't make like more than like $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month or something like that. They cap them. So people on disability, correct, they cannot have outside income of more than that amount that Social Security disability approves for them. But the way around that is creating them a company and or a trust, because that's what I shared with you all last week was when we were talking about different cultures and nationalities that are on Section 8. And I was saying, it's a lot of Black people are not the highest people. Black people are not the only people, and Black people are not the most that are on Section 8. Section 8, actually, the most people that are on Section 8 are Caucasian people. Okay. And I stated that the most that a lot of them are on Section 8 is because a lot of them have trust. And again, when you have a trust set up, you are not reporting that income from the trust on your personal income. So it looks like you don't have income because the trust owns and manages and receives everything. All right. So this is why we have to learn trust, taxes, estate planning, because this is how a lot of people are living and getting away with living and not paying taxes and still receiving benefits from the government. Okay. Because the myth is that Black people are the only ones on Section 8, and that's a lie. It's the biggest lie. Okay. But because you and your people weren't taught certain things and how to maneuver in America like others were, right? Then you don't know this, which is why I'm sharing this with you today. All right. Okay. Coco, I don't know why I thought you told me you was 25, girl. When we was on the call, you say, no, I'm not. I'm 45, Gen X. Sadly, I had to relearn what I don't get in my, what I didn't get in my. Okay. Hey, we all rolling in the same category then. Let's roll. Let's roll. See, I still want you to come visit my farm when you have time. That's what my parents didn't set any of us up well. So I just wanted to secure my kids the best way I can. Exactly, Coco. And you're doing right. You're doing right. And that's also why I say a trust is so important, because it's literally a way for you to control from the grave, right? When my grandparents passed away, when you set up a trust, you can put stipulations in the trust, right? So when my grandparents set up the Stewart family trust, my grandmother and my grandfather, and then as I was the oldest, no, my cousin was the oldest, and I was the second oldest grandchild, but I'm the oldest out of my father's kids, right? But what they put in that trust, what they stipulated in order for us to get any of our trust money, was we had to go to college. So if we didn't go to college and we didn't have that college degree, we had to actually go to college and graduate, not just go to college. If you didn't have your actual degree, your diploma, you could not get access to the trust. So I didn't really know that. I was wondering, in the beginning, my dad was like, "No, you going to school, you going to school, you going to college." I'm like, "I don't want to go to college." I knew early on that I was going to be an entrepreneur, but I knew that college was important to my grandparents and my dad. But I didn't know until after they both passed, until my grandmother and my grandfather passed away, and we had to split the trust up. And then that's when I realized, and I was told that we had to have a diploma. So I was like, wow. So everybody in the family didn't get access to the trust because everybody didn't graduate college. So stuff like that, I call it controlling from the grave, right? So again, if you got family members or kids that that maybe are not financially stable, you feel like if you leave them $500,000, they're gonna blow it. Put that sucker in a trust. Okay, create a trust. In Illinois, we got an attorney here. He only charged $1,700 to set your trust up. Okay, so it's worth the money, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to do all of this stuff and then your family just blow it, or sell your property, sell your land. Like if you want to put stipulations that they can never sell this land, it has to always be passed down to a family member, you can put that in your trust, right? So this is how you keep the generational wealth going. This is how that happens, right? But when you don't know and you just leave them the money directly from the life insurance policy, so many people blow the money, y'all. Being in financial services, it don't make no sense how many people I have seen they families just blow the money, and it's sad to see. It is, especially when you know, like, they grandparent and they grandparent own like 10 buildings, and the kids just selling them off, or they got $1 million policy and they just blew through the money in a year or two. Like, baby, I done seen some stuff. So that's another reason why I'm on here telling y'all, like, please don't do that. Please protect yourself and your assets. It's called asset protection, baby. And like I say, control from the grave. Coco, you said that's what my parent. Okay, yes, the world will be in famine. You can eat with me once I start growing. Girl, come on. I want to be a farmer anyway. I feel like I'm supposed to in my past life. Okay, you say, yes, I love the idea of a revocable trust. I like options. Exactly. So a lot of people do a revocable trust. Yeah, I think that one is more popular than the irrevocable. But it's the reason why people do irrevocable. So I look forward to it. Let me buy you a coffee. Shiva and you, I'm waiting for them too. Come on. We need to get she back up, y'all. We got to start talking about it again on the internet. We need that penny. We just needed to hit a penny. If you bought early, baby, you just needed to hit a penny. Like I said, if it hit a penny, I'm got 700,000. 700,000 off 71 million shares. Like, I need that. Eraser say some of the bigger shit coins would never hit that high. Look into what market cap that would need to be. See, that's why I say Eraser. I gotta learn. And then somebody told me about that, like looking at the market cap. I gotta learn it. I haven't sat down and really learned the whole coin thing. Yeah, I'm not savvy enough to do Bitcoin just yet. Like I said, I put a little bit in. I think I put in like $100 like 3 years ago. So every time I check my account, it's still up. It go up and down. But I think right now it's like $500 or something in there for Bitcoin. And then Sheba is sitting there. Basic fundamentals like stocks. Okay. So for Bitcoin to hit 100K with its current supply, it would need to overtake Apple by 2 times its total market cap. So when I'm looking on, so I think I got crypto.com. So when I'm looking in there, it says something about market cap. So that's what I should be looking at. That's what you're saying? Because I think it shows like the market cap for each coin. And that's what some dude on YouTube was breaking down Sheeb. Like, Sheeb is not going to hit a penny because at that time it was at this specific market cap. And he was like, it don't even make sense to hit the penny because the market cap is nowhere near there to be able to even pay out at the penny or something like that. This was maybe 2 years ago. I haven't really looked into the coins since maybe at least 2 years. So Eraser Joe, okay, you know some stuff about this coin. No, sis, I'm sorry. I was talking about my home, not the LLC. I got off topic a bit. I just wanted to ask if you were familiar with it. Oh, okay, Andrea, my bad. Okay. That's a gem right there. I wish I could go back to 25 so I could do better. I'm gonna start that. Right. Told you, Coco. Stop saying you wish you could go back. You learned what you learned today, and we just, what I'm saying, take it and keep it pushing. Cause we could be wishing to go back all day, but that ain't gonna happen, right? So it's just a matter of we know better, we do better. I love y'all on here, aesthetics guru. Get on them about them likes. Look. Coco. Yes, Coco, me too. But I guess if it's not too late. It's never too late. Did y'all see that article? Like a 73-year-old man just graduated from college, baby, like 73. He was like, and his mama was there to clap him on. I think she was in her 90s. Like, baby, it is never too late. Just when you learn, you put the action to it. The biggest thing is putting the action to it. Because I've been on here educating and giving free game for 11, 12 years now. A lot of people don't take it and put action to it. That's what it is. It ain't that you learn in late. It's, are you going, now that you know what you know, are you going to put some action to it? Right? Because you could know stuff 20 years ago. I knew a lot of stuff 20 years ago. I heard about a lot of stuff 20 years ago. But mentally, I wasn't there. Right now that I'm mentally there, and you tell me that same thing today, I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. You get what I'm saying? So that's really what it's more about, is putting the action to it. Because people get information every day and they just not utilizing it. Right, there go Coco. She said, right. It's never too late, my dear. We're doing the right thing now. Exactly. Aesthetics. I'm not sure. Could be mad. I'm definitely be controlling from the grave. Exactly, Coco, with that land. Yeah, even in the politics, I'm more interested now. True, Andrea, because that's what I'm saying. It's levels to life, y'all. Right? Like I wasn't thinking about politics 3 years ago. I wasn't started thinking about politics until all this stuff happened in Chicago with the migrant situation. Right? Then because it hit home, people was on here for years, Texas, California, talking about the border and stuff, but we didn't know because we couldn't relate. When you can't relate, you like, oh, okay, right? It's just another story. But when it's right at your front door, right? When it changes and it affects your life, now you like, right? So I had no clue. I wasn't into politics. I wasn't into, a lot of stuff. But the older we get, and as things start affecting you, then you start seeing and start learning more. So it's definitely as we grow. That's just what it is. It's as we grow. You say, I cashed out my Sheba. Nah, it's nothing wrong. See, that's Cynthia. It's nothing wrong, Cynthia, because a lot of people cash their Sheba. I think Sheba did go up like a couple of years ago. I think my account went up to almost 7,000 or 8,000. And again, I didn't know. Somebody was like, when you get some money and it hit, you're supposed to pull some out. Right. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I thought I was just supposed to keep it there, and let it go. So I'm sure that's probably the time frame, Cynthia, where you maybe cashed yours out. But yeah, you learn that, again, I didn't know how coin worked. So that's what they told me. Like, okay, if you get something that hit like that, I think, like I said, my investment was $400. So to go up to like 7,000 or 8,000, I was supposed to pull some money out, and I didn't. And so now it's definitely not at 7,000 or 8,000. I think it's, like I said, it's like around $1,100 right now with me having 71 million. So you are correct. I had to refresh my life. Okay. I bought XRP. Now, my cousin told me to buy XRP too. It's projected to hit big because of the ledger system that will be used for the digital currency. Right. So I heard XRP. Is XRP like one of the main ones that they buy? Because it's the XRP and it's another one. It's like a main coin that they buy. Even when they were doing, remember when the Facebook, when the people was all on Facebook and they was in the rooms, and it wasn't called Facebook though, Metaverse, right? What happened with that? I don't see nobody doing that no more. When it first came out, people was all on here with their little cartoon man in Metaverse, and they was walking around and they was building and selling property and land. Is that still going on? Because I don't see no videos now about that. Like everybody was doing that a couple of years ago. That's why I don't jump on everything in the beginning. I was like, yeah, we gonna see how this pan out. But they were selling land and property inside the metaverse, like for some real money too. People was paying like $50,000 for a plot. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna see if I got XRP though. I think I bought a little bit. I don't got much. Probably not worth talking about. I was there before my daughter got sick. Aesthetics, it happens. I was there before my daughter got sick. Okay, that's what she was saying. You was responding to her. You are so right. We have to use it once we learn it. Exactly. That's really what it is, Coco. I've been on here an hour and 45 minutes, so I'm getting ready to get off of here with y'all. We're going to be on about another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to bed. I'm tired as heck. I got to be up at 8 in the morning for my board meeting. Andrea's perspective. I have a challenged baby and a sick dad I care for. We can't stop. We will definitely get our lives where they need to be. Please be encouraged and give your daughter a hug for me. Look at y'all on here. Come on, family. It's like 52 cents right now. Really? For XRP? So that's not the coin I'm talking about then. It's another coin, aesthetics, that I'm talking about that my cousin told me to buy. It was like the coin that they was buying. Yeah, okay. I might have to get some if it's 52 cents right now. It's another coin then. It's the one that they was buying like the houses and stuff with, because people was literally buying property. Let me see. I got my cell phone right here. Let me log into my crypto account real quick. Because my cousin told me, he was like, look, you need to buy. Like I said, him and his friends do all this stuff. He was selling him and his friends had made one of those, I forgot what it's called, one of those paintings where you could sell them and people was paying for the photo. Like, I'm gonna have to get with him. But he had told me, I just got to give y'all the name because I'm like, I hate when I am thinking of something and then I can't tell you. XRP. Ethereum. That's what it is. Ethereum. ETH. Ethereum. That's the one he had told me to get. Now, back a couple of years ago when he told me to buy Ethereum, it was like $175. Now, Ethereum is up to $2,400. Shoot, like 6 months ago, it was down to like 1,800, 1,700. Yeah, Ethereum, that's the one. Yep, a year ago, it was $1,200. I knew I should have listened to him. A year ago, it was $1,200. Now it's $2,468. Ethereum, that's the one. ETH, Ethereum. So in the beginning, that's the one that a lot of them was buying. Okay, hold on. Aesthetics, I see you type of some stuff. Oh, thank you, Coco. Yeah, I haven't had my hair blown out in at least probably almost 2 years, girl. I've been wearing braids, then a wig, braids. So I was like, let me just go and get my real hair blown out. Plus, my mama like this. She don't like braids and she don't like the wigs. So I wanted to surprise her and make her happy. Let her see me like this. So thank you, boo. Okay, yes, Coco. It's projected to be okay. Aesthetics, you say it's projected to be valued at $10 in a few years. BRICS countries are setting up US crypto for international payments. Ripple is also involved in the process, but I haven't figured that one out yet. Me either. I've heard of Ripple, but I haven't learned too much about Ripple either. And I have heard that BRICS is what's going to be BRICS countries is what's going to be using the crypto. So right, to keep it, because at first they was trying to say that US was trying to say not to buy crypto, but now they coming out with their own crypto. Right, Molly, I do know that they go up and down. And that was also my biggest concern with crypto in the beginning, because I'm like, this a little more volatile than the stocks to me, because it's like literally one day you at 2,400 and tomorrow we could wake up and it'd be at 1,000, right? So I felt it was a little more volatile than stocks, and I'm not that type of person. Okay, I'm real frugal when it comes to my money, real frugal. So I don't do a whole lot of investing and gambling. But again, this was newer. This whole coin thing was newer. But seeing the people who got into Bitcoin early, and now Bitcoin is at $63,000, like, whew. So that's why I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to the sheep. We're gonna pray and get Sheeb back up, baby. Cause I'm gonna hold on to the Sheeb. I need that hit. I need one of them hits. And then I may go ahead and invest in XRP and even just get some Ethereum. But yeah, I gotta get back into the coins. This just be so much, y'all. You gotta mentally, I can't think if I don't know stuff. So if I can't think with it, I ain't doing it. I don't care how much money involved. That's how I am. I don't care how much money is involved. If I can't think to understand it, I'm not doing it. So, or I'm gonna put the bare minimum. Like I said, I think I put $100 on Bitcoin. What's my Bitcoin worth today? Do I got even any money left on it? I probably sold the coin I did have. Look. I think I got Bitcoin on another app. This app, I only got Sheeb. I think I bought Bitcoin through Robinhood, because I had Dogecoin and I think Bitcoin on Robinhood. On this app, I bought Sheeb. That's how I bought Sheeb, was on this crypto app. But okay, y'all. Now since y'all brought it up, I'm gonna look back into it. Look, maybe we'll have a Zoom workshop or something one day where we help each other, because y'all gonna have to help me out with that one on these coins. It looks so lovely. It's all I love. Coco, girl, you are hilarious. But no, yeah, I feel you. I don't like no crunchy hair either. She is so funny. So Andrea mom is actually doing day by day. Day by day. I don't like her bruises. She got some really, really deep bruises, black and blue. So I'm waiting on my attorney. I'm waiting to hear back from the attorney, because I really want him to say we have a case against this facility. But outside of that, I'm gonna stay positive. She had a good day today. We actually went out to the Thai restaurant and had a sit down. We haven't sat down and ate in 60 days or so, since she's been in and out of the hospital for the last 30 days. But yeah, so yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. We're gonna have that another day, because I'm gonna put that lady, the nurse, on blast. I blasted her on YouTube. I blasted her on my Facebook page, and her family member reached out to me. So I'm gonna talk to y'all about that on YouTube. I'm gonna blast her ass on YouTube and post her photo on YouTube the way I did on Facebook. But her family member reached out to me. Was like, anything you need, I'll tell you. I was like, oof. That just show you how evil and nasty spirited people be when they own family members reach out to you to ask how they could be of assistance. So karma is a bitch. Treat people well out here, y'all. Right, one day at a time. Sade didn't have a good weekend at all. Oh, Andrea, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But like you say, one day at a time. One day at a time. Girl, she went on the way I want all of us. Oh, her. She better treat our mama. Girl. That's why I'm like, people, I don't know why people in healthcare, and not even just healthcare, but I hate when people be in certain professions and they like feel like they above the law. And then you got to be the one to come in and show them like, don't motherfucker play with me. Because that's what it was. I feel like they just be so used to treating people and people just be glad to get their family member back up out of there. Nah, baby. Because I cussed them people out and flipped out on Saturday when I went to visit her and saw her body. And then they released her to me that next morning. So they thought like, oh, okay, we're just going to release her and it's going to be over. No, it ain't over. It's far from over. Now I'm really fighting to give my mama some justice because it don't make no sense for her body to look the way it do as far as being bruised up. So you could tell like she has a huge black and blue, like the thing go from here to all the way around here. That's an arm, that's a hand, right? That's somebody's hand that was grabbing and pulling. Like this lady 71 years old. And you finna tell me it's okay for my mom to be walking around here with these kind of bruises? Okay. So I had to keep my composure. They called the police on me and everything, y'all. That's why I said I'm gonna tell the whole story. I'm gonna put it on video. I got photos. I took a photo of the lady. I'll post her on Facebook. Two of her family members reached out to me. They done gave me this lady information. I have to tell them, hey, I don't need that. Hey man, I don't need that. God gonna handle it. But the old me peaches, baby. I called the Department of Aging and I got her. You say I'm a nurse, Patrice. Every state has an office of the aging, and I can't read, girl. What's that? Oh, ombudsman. If you reach out, they will investigate. So every time I try to call, so I call Illinois Department of Health, you can never get through. So you saying call directly to the Department of Aging, and then on Facebook they was telling me to call something like the nurses report line or something. Girl, I got like 8 different phone numbers down here, like 4 different places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna just add what you say, but I'm gonna go back to them. Joint Commission. So Department of Aging. But yeah, so the family member sent me the lady ID because when she called the police, she filed a police report, and then I filed a separate police report because I stood there and waited on the police. I'm like, bitch, I don't give a fuck about you calling the police. You don't want to give me answers as to why my mother looks this way. Yes, I cussed y'all out. Yes, I said what the fuck is going on. And so she like, oh, well, you cursed at me. Ain't no more talking. You got to leave and all this other. Girl, I ain't got to leave and go nowhere because we're gonna document this, right? Because that was the thing. She was refusing to document what I saw. And I'm like, we need to document how my mama body looking. And then she got snappy and a little extra, and I cussed her ass out. So then she like, okay, well, we gonna call the police, all this other stuff. Cool, call them. So I could wait on them and file my report. But in a nutshell, the family member, I ain't gonna say who he is to her, but the family member reached out to me, gave me her full name, gave me her ID number, her nurse ID number, because every nurse has an ID number that they have to have registered with the state, right? Gave me both of them. Yes, I have POA of my mom. And they know that. They had the paperwork on file. Yeah. And this was the head nurse. So my mom was at Silver Oaks Behavioral Hospital, which is in New Lenox. Okay. So it's basically like a mental facility. Okay. Um, but yeah, she's the managing head nurse there. And so I said, okay, thank you. Thank you for acting the way that you did because I'm finna have a case on your ass. You did too much for me asking questions. You got mad because I got mad about my mom looking the way she looking. And you got mad because I was asking questions. You probably the one that did it. Okay, ma'am. So I'm gonna call all these places that you saying aesthetics because you a nurse. Um, you can report the nurse to the board of nursing separately. That's what it is. Board of nursing. Okay. Board of nursing. Yeah. Because that's what I want. I want her and the facility. I want both of them. I want all their heads. But yeah, I be trying to call these companies all day. They numbers just be busy. But I'm going to get back on it tomorrow. I didn't call today because Mondays be the worst. But I'm going to try to reach back out to Department of Aging. But in the meantime, I do have an attorney. And we got the medical records. So now, no, they did not. And that was my whole thing. They did not notify me of her injuries. And she had a big boil here in the middle of her arm, like that size. She didn't have that when she went in there. So how this lady got a boil, how she bruised up on both her arms. She got bruises all over her stomach. The hell was y'all in there doing? So, yeah, like I said, they just used to people complaining and keeping it moving. Nah, baby. I got an attorney. I got an attorney working on this. So I'm just waiting on them to review everything to let me know if he gonna be able to proceed or not. They can't think I don't care, baby, because I was calling that facility 4 to 5 times a day, checking on my mom. They only let you see them once a week for an hour. I was there for both visitations because she was there 2 weeks. So I don't, that's what I'm saying. They can't think that I didn't care because I was on their ass, like on it. And literally I flipped out in that facility. They had like 15 people come in the room because it was, and I waited to the end so everybody could get their time with their loved one. I didn't flip out during the visitation. I waited. So we had a whole hour and I waited. I know aesthetics. Believe me, I got other clients and friends that's nurses that have said all of this to me. That gave me the rundown, told me what was supposed to happen if they restrained her, that they were supposed to call me. I never got a call about her needing restraints, none of that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and then I knew that they was lying because then they tried to give me the runaround with the medical report. I requested the medical report Wednesday. I said, how long does it take for you to give me the information? They sent it to me. I just got it today. So the lady messaged me Friday, like, I messaged it to you. I sent you the email at 9:04 a.m. I sent it to you in a timely manner. So, ma'am, why didn't you just re-forward it if you sent it? So my email was like, well, I didn't get it. So why can't you just re-forward it? Why would you send me a whole email typing out the time frame? If you forward it, I'll see that. But you didn't forward me no email. So another lady, maybe a manager, got my email and responded to me this morning and sent me the medical records in 2 separate emails. So she was like, I think it's because the file is too big. I'm sorry that you was having problems. Thank you. It's okay. This just gonna add on to when I send this to my attorney. Now they playing games with giving me the medical records. Now they lied and added on the medical records that my mom said she had bruises in her intake form, which is a lie because she couldn't even speak when she got there. She wasn't even coherent. So how could she tell you she had bruises on her? And I was the one who did the whole intake. So I said, okay, so they didn't win and added this into the thing. That's probably why it took them a couple of days to send me the records, because they had to lie and change the records. But it's okay, because they don't know. I took video of my mom before she went in there. So I know exactly how my mom's body looked before she went in there, because I took video and I have pictures of it. So I have proof that she didn't walk in there with no damn bruises or a boil or whatever you want to call it, a blister, a boil. So, yeah. A sister been going through some stuff on the back end, right? But again, I got to come on and still talk and educate my people. But just pray for me, okay? Just pray for me that I remain calm, because I've been trying to be calm and cool with this, because I'm trying to do everything the legal way. Okay. Then that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Look, I said I was gonna have a protest. I'm calling because I got to get my police report copy. So when I go to New Lenox, I'm gonna ask the police what's the process to have like a protest, right? Well, I'm gonna have signs up there in my hand and everything. I'm gonna be standing out there in front of their facility so people can know, do not send your people here. They are horrible here. But yeah, I made a post on Facebook about it. So anybody that had a family member that went to Silver Oaks and you got a story, please reach out to me. Okay? Because I'm gonna put my email down here. Please reach out to me, because I'm trying to bump this to a class action lawsuit. Because I'm not going away. Tax Credit Academy. Yeah, I'm going to fight for my mom. So they don't want us to pull January 6th on them. Right. Come in there and tear that sucker up. That's why I was like, man, y'all got the right one. Y'all know how you go somewhere, you cuss people out like, you don't even know who you messing with. That's how I was walking down. I was like, you don't even know who you messing with. I had this shut down. I say, they don't know who I am, baby. I will literally have this mog shut down. Y'all will be working, trying to find y'all another job. So let me get off here, y'all. We done got all off into a whole nother other thing. But I am gonna make a formal video of the whole situation, because I'm trying to spread the word about Silver Oak. So I took a video and I'm gonna put it all together as a little compilation. And thank you, Aesthetics, too, because I'm everything you put, I'm gonna write down. I wrote down the other facilities to call. But don't it sound like guilt, Molly? Yeah, that's what I said. Hey man, that's my child. Y'all got kids. My mama been my kid. Okay. We've kind of reversed roles, but my mama has always been my kid. I've been taking care of her since I was 15. So that's my child. I don't play about her. So so yes, thank you. Thank y'all. And I am gonna see about that, Molly, though. I've got a couple of people in the news world that I can maybe see. But I want to get this rally. I want to put like a protest together and go out there and stand in front of their spot. So I'm gonna find out what that process looked like in New Lenox, because New Lenox is a lot different than Chicago. I know they hired something. You say you're supposed to be notified within 24 hours of the incident. This is a violation of policy. They are hiding something. I already know. Aesthetics. And then y'all look to top it off. Why some chick made a fake page on Facebook and came and commented on my post the other day talking about, I know exactly what happened to your mother. Didn't nothing happen to her. At first it was a burn cigarette. First you were saying it was a cigarette burn. Now this. She like, some people just money hungry. Why are you on here commenting on my posts? I said, oh, you one of them little dirty, dusty CNAs that clean people ass for a living. So you mad you make $11 an hour cleaning people ass for a living. So now you just on here commenting whatever. Like, I screenshotted that. Thank you. I was like, thank you, dummy, for helping my case. Because now I know you work there. Now, how you know my mama and you know exactly what happened to her? Like, girl. And that's how you know it's one of them little goofy ass little girls, because it was like 15 people in that room, y'all. When I snapped out, like it was like 15 people, and most of them was black. And there was a lot of black women in there. And I'm talking about, I snapped out. I was in there. I was mad as hell. I was flipping chairs, tables over. I was telling them, you ain't putting me out of nowhere until somebody gonna explain to me why the fuck my mama look like this. And so it was like 15 of them standing around me, and they like, just calm down, just calm down, just calm down. We can talk about it and this and that. And I'm looking at her, the nurse, that's got this little smirk on her face. And that's what was pissing me off, because she just had this little like smirk on her face. And then you gonna call the police on me, bitch? Like, you got the right one. Don't let this light skin fool you. Y'all know how they be. Y'all be trying to play us little light skinned chicks like we Fugazi. Nah, I'm Chicago, Southside Peaches, baby. Don't let this light skin fool you. So like I said, right now, I'm trying to stay professional about it. Okay. But in the meantime, that's how we gonna handle it. But yeah, that's what happened. But the fact that the girl commented on my post, that just really took me. Somebody done created a whole fake page talking about, you know what happened. And then where you get cigarette burn from? Nobody said nothing about a cigarette burn. So now you got me thinking. They do. They need to start giving them drugs. They need to start doing a lot. Seriously. Because it's ridiculous. It was mostly African-American staff there. So I know one of them definitely was one of the ones that made that post, created a whole fake page just to post that. So I wish I knew how to get funding to start a senior facility so I could care for them properly. Hey, Coco, that may be something you need to look into. It's a lot of money on grants.gov, but I don't know how to go through that. I'm gonna be honest. That's a whole nother job within itself, applying for grants. But I'm pretty sure there's some funding out there. You just will have to do a lot of research to figure it out. Yeah, I'm gonna make the video. Exactly, aesthetic. She say facts. I knew it. I already knew. Definitely admission of guilt. Right. That's what I'm saying. Cause I'm like, who said anything about a cigarette burn? You on here typing stuff. I say, you just a talking baby. I said, thank you. Screenshot. Thank you for commenting so I can send this to my attorney with your goofy ass. Oh, I said it wasn't nothing but one of them little young girls. And I hate to say it. She was black. She was. Because that's the only ones that would do some goofy shit like that. And then comment on your post about it. Because they used to doing that. Making fake pages and then comment. Like, you think that I can't even find you with that fake page? Like, baby, I got hella resources. Like I said, I'm trying to stay on the legal beagle right now. Okay. That's how we gonna keep it right now. So I'm getting off of here though, y'all. I'm gonna keep y'all posted. Yellow and red balls. I'm talking about it. Coco, and you know how it is in Chicago, especially on the east side. They be trying to sometimes play with us little light-skinned chicks, like, you ain't on nothing, all right? All right. Don't let this light skin fool you. My brown and my chocolate sisters, they automatically just think y'all could fight. Okay. We the ones that got to show that we can really fight. Okay. Let's be clear. Y'all know how it is. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Till the next time. I'll probably come on tomorrow for a little bit. If you in Chicago, don't forget Wednesday, City Hall, 9 a.m. Town hall meeting. We're doing another town hall meeting at my office on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. and it'll be in the evening. And I'll come back and update y'all on something else tomorrow. Okay. I'm out. Have a good night. And